You're good.
All right. Welcome to Center for Spiritual Living, Leesburg. Happy Sunday, March 14th. I'm Tamara, and I am the president of our Leadership Council. Our theme for this year is Timeless Wisdom, Evolutionary Vision. The focus for this month is Open to Possibilities. Isn't that perfect as we see flowers starting to open as we welcome spring? The title of our talk today is Release and Let Go. And our speaker will be our spiritual director, Charlene Banks. And now we'll open our sacred service. Please join us as we create our sacred space. We set our intentions of deepening into our awareness and practice of our 5 pillars of spiritual living by lighting this candle in our virtual world. Our first pillar is sacred study, represented by the divine quality of truth. We use this pillar to recognize the importance of an open mind and the power of our minds. The second pillar is affirmative prayer, represented by the divine quality power. This pillar honors the power of prayer in our daily lives. Our third pillar is meditation and the divine quality of peace. This pillar reminds us of the importance of meditation and the peace we feel when we quiet our minds. The fourth pillar is circulation and the divine quality of life. We know that the great law of circulation works in our lives. As we give, so shall we receive. And the fifth pillar is sacred service and the divine quality of love. This pillar affirms our call to be of service to our world as we see through the eyes of love. Let us close our eyes as we bless this sacred space and our time together. As we weave each of these pillars of spiritual living into our service today, may they deepen our own spiritual practices of study, prayer, meditation, circulation, and service, expanding our minds and our hearts to the 5 divine qualities of truth, power, peace, life, and love. We also bless everyone who made our service possible today and everyone in attendance. May the energy of love that is generated here bless everyone abundantly, and so it is. Please feel free to add any prayer concerns or any celebrations in our chat or comment section so that we can include them later in our service in our community spiritual mind treatment, which is our form of affirmative prayer. And now we move into our time of meditation with Charlene Banks.
Hi there. Welcome. So today I would like to share a meditation with you. I'd like to guide you on a healing journey.
Please join us.
And the healing journey is for forgiveness. So I'd like to just invite you to find a nice comfortable spot, put your feet flat on the floor, and just close your eyes with me. Take a nice deep breath. And just allow whatever came before this moment to just fall away. Anything that happened before you arrived here just falls to the floor. As your eyes close, your jaw slackens. Your shoulders relax. We just anchor ourselves in this space so wonderfully opened by Tamara. That sacred space that lets us know that we are the beloved. that the divine breathes in and out as us. Anchored in that space. I'd like you to, if you're willing, ask Spirit, who in my life shall I forgive? Now, usually Spirit presents someone immediately. Let's allow ourselves to be willing to forgive. So in your mind's eye, see the face. See the face of that person who may have harmed you in the past. And just breathe through your entire body. Notice, is there any place where you're stiff, where you're contracting? Breathe and relax into it. For it is natural to tense up a little bit if there's someone in your life who needs your forgiveness. But we breathe into our bodies. Gently say this person's name to yourself. Gently say, I forgive you. For the ways you have harmed me, intentionally or not. I forgive you. Say their name. Repeat, I forgive you. Trust yourself to forgive in a way that feels safe for you, without bringing the story up, without needing to be right. Allow yourself to go as far as you can in forgiveness, for we know this is a layered process. Whatever you can do is enough. I forgive you. Breathing into our bodies as we hold this person's face, allowing the forgiveness. And when the pace seems to slow, The amount of energy around this person seems to lighten and dissipate. I invite you to breathe in deeply and allow their visage to fade. Release them. Lovingly release them. Say, I release you. Say their name. And in this space of clarity and clear vision, I invite you to return your attention to yourself. For it is said that sometimes we need to forgive ourselves. So I invite you to bring an image of your own face in your mind. Bring your face in your mind's eye. Lovingly notice your expression, your appearance. How do you appear to yourself? Now bring to mind any situation where you have blamed yourself, any situation for which you feel a sense of guilt. Just pick something light, something small, something. Your mind's eye will have already chosen this for you. Allow it. When you are ready, say your name in your mind's eye. Say your name. And I forgive you. If that feels too difficult for you, just add the word may. May I forgive you. Now turn the phrase. May I forgive myself. If it helps, put your hand over your heart. Feel the love that you have for yourself. And repeat, may I forgive myself. Just letting your hands relax in your lap. Returning to the breath. Holding the thought, may I forgive myself. Until it feels less charged. The situations that you've brought up, not going into the story, not having to be right, just allowing you to love yourself. Notice how you're feeling. Bring your awareness back to the body, back to the breath. Take a few easy breaths, just lightly. Now taking a few more moments to offer gratitude to yourself for allowing yourself to take this time to go within your own being, calling forth those things that need to be released. For taking care of your own heart, for lightening your load, for removing some of the hurts that have accumulated in your life. Remember, this practice of letting go and moving in the direction of more peace, more happiness, and more freedom, that is your birthright. Breathing in stillness for as long as you like. Remembering we can come back to this space at any time. We are always right here for ourselves if we would simply sit and simply allow. So good. So when you're ready, I invite you to gently wiggle your fingers. Wiggle your toes. Feel where your body meets the seat within which you sit. And gently opening your eyes to a soft gaze. Looking around you. Feeling grateful for all that life has revealed to us this day. And so it is. Now let's listen to Leah. She has a song called Listening.
Good morning, CSL Leesburg. And I'd like to invite you to sing this song with me. The first time around, we're going to shift the lyrics a little bit to be on time with the theme of the month. I'm visioning. I am visioning. Spirit, speak to me. I'm visioning. I am visioning. Spirit, speak to me. My hands are wide open, heart is wide open to see what I may be. I'm visioning. I am visioning. Spirit, speak to me. I'm listening. I am listening. Spirit, speak to me. I'm listening. I am listening. Spirit, speak to me. My hands are wide open. My heart is wide open to see what I may be. I'm listening. I am listening. Spirit, speak to me. I'm listening. I am listening. In this moment of silence, speak to me. I can hear the voices of all my kin. I'm listening, speaking, singing, am listening, howling, spirit. We're all calling into the wind. My hands are wide open, and oh, the joy. My heart is wide open. Oh, the love to see that's here for you and me. I'm listening in this moment of silence. I am listening. I hear Spirit speak to me.
Wow, that's very powerful. Wouldn't you agree? I am listening. So this week, the theme, the talk is release and let go. And last week we did talk about staying in the question, because the whole month this talk is about the visioning a new life for ourselves. And so I love that Leah's song started with I am visioning, and then she wrote that a song herself, and she said she ended it with the original words was I am listening. Because part of visioning, as we talked about last week, is sitting and remaining open in the question. And I would love to hear, I wish this were a forum where everybody would just, be able to say how it showed up in their lives. Did you stay in the question? Because when we're listening and we're staying in the question, the answers that we get are so much more than they would have been if we thought we already knew what we wanted. You see, here's what happens. And I don't know about you, but in my life, it totally happens. When I think I know what I want, I've got tunnel vision. And I can't see anything outside of what I'm already looking for. And so it limits me in my miracles. My miracles are limited to those things which I think that I want and they think that I need, and my visualization of what I want in my life. I'm a little narrow. And I'm not open enough to say, all right, well, I'm going to trust that there's something bigger happening than what I can see. Because what I know about science tells me that my brain can't keep up with all the inputs that are happening. There's so many billions of things coming in. And so my brain is going to select and pick and choose and give me exactly what I'm looking for. That's just science. And it's efficient, right? And there's a lot of different stories. One of my favorite stories about us not being able to see what we can't visualize is it's a story about Native Americans imagine them standing on the shore, the eastern shore, looking out upon the waves and just seeing nothing. But the shaman is jumping up and down trying to point to the 3 ships that we've been told. I'm just pretending there's the Nina, the Pinta, this, I don't know which ships, but there are some clipper ships out there, the ones with the big sails. The shaman is like, look at the sails. And the people are like, huh? I don't see. The people who had never seen anything like that, did not have a mental picture of what that could look like, couldn't see it, because the brain does its job very well. It just cancels out things that are not relevant, doesn't think it's relevant, you're not allowed to see it. But what is the shaman's purpose? The shaman is that person in the community connected to spirit at all times. It is that he or she is that throughput. It's that line from the divine to the culture so that they could have their divine experiences. They could do the mystical. They could bring it in to the physical. And so that's why the shaman was like, guys, so like there's a ship over there. I mean, I don't know what to call it a ship, but it's happening. And so I feel that that's what happens with me when I'm walking around and I think I know already, and I've not sat still, and I've not aligned myself, I've not asked the question, I'm not staying in the listening part, I'm just doing my thing, conditioned as I am. Guess what I see? I see all the things that I'm told to see, all the things that everybody has agreed upon already, and I'm not seeing that which is possible. I'm not seeing maybe a more divine idea for me. And so that's why we sit, and that's why we need to release. So this topic today really is about releasing, and why release. So it turns out a couple things. Now, releasing and embracing, you see, you can't get anything new if you don't let anything go. Right? So that's the releasing part. And if we were to not release, just think in terms of your bodily functions. You hear me? I don't need to go further? Okay. But what if you didn't release? Then you could never receive anything new. And it would be stagnant, and life does not work that way. So when we go into those meditations, and the reason I brought you through a forgiveness meditation is because sometimes some of the things that we need to release are the things that we hold on to that are either no longer serving us or that just need to be forgiven and healed. And a lot of times it's guilt that keeps us back, pain from the past that keeps us from experiencing something new in the future. These types of things no longer serve us, but our survival instinct, our reptilian brain is oh, don't do that. That brings horror. That brings fear. Remember, we can't do that. We can't step forward because that one time. And so we're here to release those. That's not the truth about us. And we get to embrace something new if we only release. So the first thing, releasing, because 100% of spiritual growth is letting go. Right? A lot of people think that 100% of spiritual growth is just getting something. No, it's letting go to create space to grow into a new direction. So through visioning, we ask what needs to be released. Now, I'll take you to this other thing about visioning. When we ask Spirit what needs to be released in order to fulfill the vision that I'm catching for myself, what needs to be released may not be the thing you want to release. You see what I'm saying? So Spirit will always reveal the right thing that needs to be released. And usually it's that thing that's limiting. For example, recently a friend of mine got promoted to this amazing position. You all know her, Reverend Sunday. Okay, so I'll just say her name out loud. She got promoted to this amazing position. And I had to go through my own grief because, right? But she's not leaving the center. She's still part of our center. But I didn't want her to. I'm holding on like a 2-year-old, right, behind her mama's leg. Don't go. Don't leave me at kindergarten. I don't want to be in kindergarten. I want to be with you. And yet part of me knew that I need to release so that I can make space to step into something new. And so that part, if I were, asked, what do you want to release? It wouldn't have been, I want to release Reverend Sunday. No, I wouldn't want to release Reverend Sunday as that role in my life, my minister at my center. No, I would have chosen something else. But what Spirit tells us is what we hear, right? We sit and we ask. And when I had a visioning for me, and I even helped her in her visioning for her, it's kind of cool. Everybody kind of gets the same picture. And when we all get that same picture of what we're growing into, okay, fine, I'll trust it. Perhaps Spirit knows more than I know. Because remember, I know that I'm moving through life. If I don't connect and provide Spirit that channel to work through me as me, then I could be walking through life with my blinders on, not seeing the possibilities. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to be with blinders on. I want to see the possibilities. And so that is why we release. We have to ask, Spirit, what is, in order to step into this vision, what do I need to release? And sometimes it's playing small. You need to release the story of, oh, you're small, you're just the girl who tells jokes. You can't be the minister. That's the story I had to let go. I'm just the girl. I'm over here in the corner eating popcorn and telling jokes. I don't want to step up. But is that really? Release that, Spirit said to me. I don't know what Spirit's saying to you, but I'm here to just kind of give you an example. You look around and you see them everywhere. In fact, there are, Ernest Holmes says in Thoughts Are Things on page 89, he says, as you learn to release all your burdens to the right action of God, you find that everything falls into its proper place. You let your problems slip away from you, realizing that a presence and a power greater than you are is within you, is ready, willing, and able to guide you in all ways. Then peace, security, and fulfillment come with ease, and there is a sense of joy and accomplishment. So how do you know you're doing it right? Do you have a sense of ease as you release the things? Do you have a sense of joy and accomplishment and hope? Is that happening? Then you know you're on the right track, and you can flip that. How do you know you're holding on to something that needs to be released? Well, if the opposite of that stuff is happening, if it's hard, if it's really hard, it feels like a struggle and you gotta push and push, and if you let go, it'll all fall apart. Maybe it needs to fall apart. Just life shouldn't be this hard if that's what you're feeling. So I always recommend go with your inner compass. Follow those things that feel like you're on the right track. You can tell. You know when you're in the flow. I want to ask you a question too. Have you ever had an experience where you were so in the flow that you could do things easily, that you were trying to think your way through and really concentrate on, and you couldn't, no matter how hard you tried, you couldn't do it, and then maybe something happened, or you let go, or some new energy came, and all of a sudden you're doing it, and you're like, oh, I'm doing it. I remember long ago, I was on my front lawn, and I used to love doing gymnastics, and I wasn't that great at gymnastics. I was kind of too long. Usually the good girls at gymnastics were short and they would just do backflips. I was kind of long and I looked like a giraffe, but don't tell me that. I'm doing cartwheels and I'm doing front walkovers and back walkovers. And there's a thing I couldn't do though. It was a side aerial. I just couldn't do it. I would, it's one of those cartwheels with no hands. And you needed a certain kind of lift as you go into the cartwheel so that you could your body could get all the way over without you putting your hands down. I had been trying for weeks and weeks and weeks. I could not do it. Just couldn't do it. And then my sister, she's on the line today, she was about to go to her prom. She probably doesn't even remember this. She was about to go to her prom, and some handsome guy showed up in his suit. And I was like, Now, I'm young. I'm too young to really covet the guy, but I saw he's looking at me and I'm doing gymnastics. So with that extra energy, I ran and did a side aerial. I was like, and then I did it again to prove I could do it. I did 3 of them that day. I have not done them since. But so I'm just saying, you can get that oomph. I don't know where you're going to get it, but just listen for it. For me, it was the energy of someone else watching. Sometimes I do get stuff like that when I'm on stage. Those of you who are actors or actresses, you know when you get up on stage and all those eyes are on you, it just happens and you're just like, oh, it's happening, and you're just flowing and you're in. That's that feeling that I want you to have, and I want to keep repeating in my life. And it has happened again and again, but that's the one I thought would be fun to bring up today. And so the purpose of remembering those times when you're in the flow and Spirit's just doing through you the amazing thing that you're just amazed by, when we hold on to that remembrance of it, we can recreate it. Because our feelings, we can't tell. Your body doesn't know the difference sometimes. Actually, I think the studies are in. The brain can't really tell if what you're visualizing and what you're remembering and what you're going through in a thought experiment is really happening or not. Your body creates those same hormones or whatever chemicals were going through you at the time. So it's nice. Humans have the ability to recreate an experience from the past. And even though we do it sometimes to our detriment, we forgive ourselves for our guilt. We release and let go of the guilt that keeps us replaying bad memories to free up the space, to replay all those times when you were in the flow and you just knew you had it. And that's what we want to remain in that vibration of, so we could keep creating in our lives from that space. Because the spiritual solution to every problem, there's the solution to every problem is spiritual. And so our goal is to get in that spirit, that place of spirit. And then the solutions come through the being of the thing we want so much that we even the efforting with the force and the tightness, that doesn't get us where we want to be. And even if it did get us where we want to be, we would have to maintain that to keep it, right? Imagine if you had to contort yourself into twists and weird, in order to gain something, are you willing to remain in that contortion to keep that thing? No. We want to attract from our highest and our best, from our most relaxed, most loving, most energetically positive state, so that we can maintain that thing from that state. And then everybody around us, all of those around us, are lifted because we are vibrational beings and we're connected to each other. When I rise, you feel it, you rise too. You start to vibrate with me, I start to vibrate with you, and we watch our thoughts, our behavior, and who we hang around, because we want to keep in that high vibration. And that's why we have spiritual community. So I will end with that because I want to share some faith traditions from all around the world that talk about this very topic. So I'll go into sharing now. One second. Are you seeing? Okay, there. Other faith traditions. The Baha'i faith. Now, feel free. I'll put a link to these slides on our website under this week's topic, so you could research a little more about each of these traditions. It's very cool. Baha'i faith. When one is released from the prison of self, that is indeed freedom. For self is the greatest prison. That's from Abdul Baha. From Buddhism, instead of making others right or wrong, or bottling up right and wrong in ourselves, there's a middle way, a very powerful middle way, not hanging on to our version so tightly. From Pema Chodron. Hinduism. Perform all thy actions with mind concentrated on the divine, renouncing attachment and looking upon success and failure with an equal eye. Spirituality implies equanimity. That's from the Bhagavad Gita. Taoism. When I let go of what I am, I become what I might be. Lao Tzu. Mysticism. God is not found in the soul. Okay, one moment. I have to turn off the helper in the house. She wants to help me. Mysticism. God is not found in the soul by adding anything, but by a process of subtraction. That's the release, right? Releasing allows us to gain. So we subtract. The more we subtract, the more we find God. Meister Eckhart. Native American. Thoughts are like arrows. Once released, they strike their mark. Guard them well, or one day you may be your own victim. Navajo proverb. Sufism. Enough with your doubts. Enough with your sorrows. Let them all go, and I will show you the way. Rumi. So it is with that I will lead us into prayer, just knowing that we are all one. And in this knowing that God is all there is, I speak my word. Because we cannot be separate from the divine. We are moving and living, and we have our beingness in the divine. As a fish moves in the water, we move within God. And God moves within us. As that water moves within that fish moves within that water. We are that fish. We move within God. God moves within us. And it is so much bigger than us. We can grow and expand and never encompass the all embodiment of God itself, God herself. For it moves and has its being through us as us, cannot be separate. And in this space of loving knowingness that I am connected to the divine, I know this is true for each and every one of us within the sound of my voice. We are all connected to the divine. God is living through and as each and every one of us. We are the spiritual community through which God is presenting herself. We are the hands and the heart and the feet of God. And since we are that which God is, we are health. So anyone who is experiencing the appearance of dis-ease, I speak my word now that that is not the truth about God. So I speak my word that God is moving in and through even those who experience dis-ease. And that right now, every cell, every organ, and action of their being is returning to its divine state, its divine order, because it knows exactly how to be in harmony with the other cells in the body. And I speak this word for our nation, that we are individual cells in this entire nation, and that we are healing each other. There's a healing happening. Even though it may not be as fast as some of us would like it to be, I speak my word that it is happening right now. It is healing, that each and every individual in this country and on this planet is returning to its divine operation, individually and as a part of the whole. And just as organs support the entire being, I speak my word that each and every person on this planet is returning to its divine order to support the entire organ that is known as Mother Earth. That healing is happening, it is revealing itself, and it is doing so as us. And the more that we, this community right here, CSL Leesburg, become aware of it, the more we uplift the entire humanity to rise its vibration as well. Because we are all connected, this cannot be that has to be the case. When I rise, you rise, because we are all connected. And I know that the power of love is exponentially more powerful than fear. And so therefore I know the more I stay in love, the more I counteract any energies that do not harmonize with it. And it rises, and we rise. And so I am so grateful for this truth. I'm so grateful to be in a teaching that allows us to embrace the truth from all traditions, that embraces truth no matter where it shows up, because we know that the golden thread runs through every single tradition. And we know that each and every one of us are more alike than we are unalike. So I'm so grateful to be a part of this and to be able to speak my word into the law, which is just the laws of the universe. Just as gravity does not favor one person over another, it acts for all of us. So does the law of God, the law of nature, the law of life, that shall bring forth this word I have spoken. It always says yes. So I'm planting my seed, my word, into the soil, which is the law. And what shall come forth is that thing. It's the likeness of the seed with which I planted, because that's just how it works. I'm so grateful to know that the seed I planted is one that shall come back to me full and multiplied, and it shall uplift all. So I simply give thanks, knowing that it is already done. I release my word into the law, knowing it is happening, and I let it go. And so it is, and so I am. Amen, Ashe. And now Leah will sing I Release. It is here, I think.
I know you know this song. It's one I've had a chance to share with you in years prior, so please sing along. There was a time in my life I thought I had to do it all for myself. I didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. I didn't know the love of God was at hand. Now I have to say, if you are discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, you gotta let go, let it all go. And this is what you have to say: I release, I let go, I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I am only for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I am only for God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I am only for love. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I am only for God. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I am only for God. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I am only for God.
Thank you, Leah. And now I introduce Tamara, who will be wrapping us up.
All right, folks. Oh my gosh. Every time we join together, there's such a powerful message. Thank you, Charlene. And oh, it was so good to hear that song again. Release, I release, and I let go. We now turn to blessing the donations that are shared today. At CSL Leesburg, we believe in the law of circulation. The donations that are shared with our service, our center blesses everyone, those who give and those who receive. We are a tithing community, so your donation helps our center, our CSL Home organization, as well as organizations that inspire us to help further our vision of helping to create a world that works for everyone. So please look at our screen. There's so many ways to give. It's easy to find the way that works best for you. You can also go onto our website, cslleesburg.org, and click to donate by using that button. We thank you so much for your support. No matter how you are giving, please take that gift physically or mentally and just place it over your heart and join us in our affirmation of oneness. The presence of Spirit within me blesses everyone I meet, tends to heal everything I touch, brings gladness into the lives of everyone I contact. Therefore, I am a blessing to myself, to humankind, and to the day in which I live. These offerings are just a few of the ways that we take what we receive and we give locally to our members and our guests. So please consider joining us on Tuesday mornings at 9 o'clock for our dream study with Charlene Banks, or on Wednesday evenings at 7 o'clock. We have our prayer circle. You can come at any time between 7 and 8, and we will hold you in prayer. Or join us on Thursday mornings for Unified Mindfulness with our dear Reverend Sunday Cote. Please feel free also to join us after our service as we share our pearls, those little nuggets of our service that spoke to our hearts and to our minds. And if you're a visitor, please feel free to stay and introduce ourselves. We'd love the opportunity to officially join you. And as we close our sacred time together, let us once again place our hands over our hearts and say, I am love. Now point to someone near you or to our members or guests on the screen and say, you are love. Now put your hands up in the air for some love sprinkles. It's all love. Thank you so much for joining us. Stay for pearls. Have a blessed day.